You? Here? What are you doing here?
I worked awfully hard to see Philippa Eilhart in chains.
I doubt you'll be so witty once we're standing side by side on the scaffold.
Unlike you, I've done nothing that would get me hanged.
To them, you're a kingslayer. I assure you, Radovid's torturers will make you admit to anything. Even intercourse with trolls.
Radovid's no idiot. He knows I'm innocent. Besides, I helped him once.
Radovid is a politician. He'd gladly show the world he's an avenger of fallen kings.
Sure, but before he does that, he'll gladly hear about your exploits in Vergen.
By aiding the rebels, I weakened Henselt's position, and that's of paramount importance. Radovid is king of the hill. He has the deciding vote during the summit, thanks, among others, to me.
Is that why he dumped you in this dungeon?
This, Witcher, is a little misunderstanding.
Did you know from the start that Saskia was a dragon?
I had suspected she was not what she seemed to be for some time, though I did not learn the truth until she fell poisoned and I could examine her thoroughly.
I've seen the list of antidote ingredients. Not a word about the Rose of Remembrance.
Well, we all prefer to have loyal allies. The Rose of Remembrance is very powerful. Even as a she-dragon, Saskia could not resist my spell.
Why don't you summon her? You could use some help now.
Dimeritium blocks all magic, telepathy included.
Someone's coming.
Your Majesty.
I've waited long for this meeting. You left Redania so suddenly I had no chance to give you the send-off you so richly deserved.
Your Majesty, I fail to understand why I have been arrested. I've done nothing but serve Redania's interests, supporting the rebellion, undermining Henselt, risking my own reputation on your behalf.
I'm no longer the little boy who believed your every word.
Why do you do this, Radovid? I was there at your most trying hours. Without me, you would not be the man you are. I don't understand.
You understand very well. You conspired against my father Vizimir, and against me. The entire Redanian court once trembled in fear of Philippa Eilhart.
Untrue, sire. You must let me explain. What are your charges, your Majesty?
Ambassador.
Triss Marigold was kind enough to compile a list of persons making up the secret society known as the Lodge of Sorceresses. Some Nilfgaardian sorceresses were members as well, but you need not be bothered with them, my lady.
Triss, you're mad!
The Lodge ordered Demaven killed. It ordered Foltest killed. I suspect you played a part in my father's death. And if I released you from the Dimeritium, you'd kill me too. You're finished, Eilhart. There will be a trial, due process, everything as it should be. But know that you shall not wriggle out of this. You shall be convicted of conspiracy, treason, and regicide. They'll rip your flesh from you in bits before they burn you at the stake. Throughout my childhood, I felt your cold stare on the back of my neck. When I issued orders, my subjects would search with their eyes for Philippa Eilhart's gesture of consent. The entire court at Tretogor looked on as you humiliated me. All Redania laughed behind my back. You taught me to look everyone in the eye. Forced them to lower their gaze, do you remember? A king must never show weakness, uncertainty, you said. I've mastered that skill. Yet there is one I could never force to submit. You. You've one chance to shorten your suffering. Admit to everything, here and now in the ambassador's presence. Look me in the eye and repent. Submit. As you wish. Torturer, put out those vile eyes.
You're making a grave error, sire.
We will talk again, witch. I refused to believe it when they told me Geralt of Rivia was in my dungeon. The Geralt I know wouldn't let himself be captured.
I was really hankering for a tour of your dungeon, sire.
What's so interesting about it?
The guests.
I apologize for the dismal company you're in, Witcher. Fortunately, Eilhart won't be with us much longer.
I beg your mercy, not for myself, but for Triss Merigold.
Your friend is now in Ambassador Fitz-Esterlin's hands.
I know, but surely Shillard won't deny you a small favor, sire.
Forgive me, but I can't be sure that I won't require grander favors from Nilfgaard. The fate of entire nations will be decided in this city. Individuals are irrelevant.
The Nilfgaardian ambassador mentioned an organization of sorceresses. Just so happens I'm interested in the plans of this lodge.
Those plans should interest no one, because the lodge will soon cease to exist. I've nothing against you personally, Witcher, but you've gone from being an uninvited guest to being an awkward witness.
I understand I'm in for an extended tour.
You certainly shan't leave here before the summit ends.
I'm flattered, sire, but you overestimate me if you think I could influence it in any way.
Politics is like a complicated puzzle. Every piece may prove useful, or equally useless, even harmful. A breakthrough awaits us here at Loch Muin, by my hand no less. This will be no second Thaned. Soon, everyone will learn what the Redanian king is capable of. You'll excuse me, but it's time for the summit.
Radovid is capable, but too young. He has yet to understand that only the dead remain truly silent. Because Redania is doing Nilfgaard a favor, I feel obliged to help the king in return.
Let Triss go.
That would be foolish. If there truly is a place we go after leaving this Vale of Tears, you'll meet her there soon enough. Allow me to relieve the Redanian executioner.
What favor do you mean? You can tell me. Just like you said, the dead keep their secrets.
That's true, but I prefer to be cautious. I promise to reveal every last detail as soon as your body is cold. Pity you won't live to see it. Loch Muin's in for a huge surprise, both the mages and the kings.
Nobody likes others to decide for them. That's especially true of kings.
You're dangerous, Witcher, and too independent. In time, Radovid will thank me, and he won't be alone. Kill him, but beware his sorcery.
Now you tell me. I don't work with sorceresses. This is no job for me.
What's going on? Are you about to fight?
The Conclave has forbidden dueling.
You can't just back out. We agreed. We have commitments to fulfill.
You did take an advance on your fee.
And I'm keeping it. Don't you follow me.
Witcher Geralt, a sight for sore eyes you are. May we speak?
Didn't expect to see you again. Certainly not here.
Loch Muin is an intriguing place.
For scientists especially.
We've mounted a small expedition and require protection.
What kind of expedition are we talking about?
We have irrefutable evidence that Epte Henna's laboratory is located in Loch Muin.
We need an armed man to protect us from the filth in the sewers. They're infested with monsters.
The details you'll get from our employer.
A sorceress.
I know a thing or two about monsters, and about sorceresses. What's this one's name?
I'm sorry, but we cannot disclose her name until you agree to join us.
Nice talking to you then.
Cynthia. Her name is Cynthia.
What was Hannah doing in this city?
Everyone's heard of his thousand genie curse, but few know that he also had a penchant for the history of Lochmuin. He was particularly interested in the Vrans and their ultimate decline as a civilization. In his memoirs, he mentions that he left his archive here. That's how we pinpointed the location of his laboratory.
You did.
The sorceress did, in point of fact.
But we're the ones who know everything about Henna.
I wrote my dissertation about the man. To arrive at the laboratory, we must pass through the sewers.
Remember that potion you gave me back in Flotsam?
Of course. How's the experiment going? Noticed any side effects?
Or peculiar interactions with other potions?
Yeah, every time I mix it with vodka, my tongue gets hairy. All right, I'm willing to help.
You won't regret it.
Where do we start?
We've gained access to an ancient crypt where mages were laid to rest. It's beneath that tower. Our companions await us there.
We've broken through! In the right spot!
Quiet.
Stand ready. He killed Vanamar.
And many other mages. I know who he is, Cynthia.
In the same city as Philippa, and you didn't even bother to change your name. That takes balls.
Philippa's out of the picture. She's been arrested.
And I was supposed to die, but I didn't. Grave error.
I'll make you a deal.
You don't get it. You turned Triss into a cold stone. I'm having a hard time trying to figure out why I shouldn't turn you into a cold corpse.
She is alive and well. We decompressed her successfully. There were no complications.
And the interrogation after she was decompressed? Because you did interrogate her.
I personally supervised it. We presented the tools, gave her a few bruises, and that sufficed to get her to talk.
Tools? A few bruises? You really don't want to leave this crypt alive.
If we're to die, we'll do so proudly, serving the Emperor. But I think that unlikely. Contrary to what they say, you're no murderer. Triss told me so.
Got anything else to tell me?
Just one thing. I've supervised dozens of interrogations. All subjects talk sooner or later. That's an old truth. Though some resist longer than others. Triss Merigold did not resist at all. She grew pale at the mere sight of the saws, hooks, and needles. She was prepared to talk before the interrogation began.
What did she tell you?
I will not betray the Emperor.
What did Triss tell you?
Please.
Well, well, another mage. What did she tell you?
I will not betray the Emperor.
I'm no good at interrogating others. Tell me, or I'll cut your hands off.
You seek to intimidate me. Give it a rest.
What did she tell you?
I will not betray the Emperor.
We'll come back to that. Why are you here?
We suspect Henna's laboratory may contain documents and books that could be useful to the Imperial Academy of Science.
That wasn't even close to funny. You're lying.
We don't know what's inside. Henna was a talented man, but also an eccentric.
What do you hope to find?
That's confidential. I cannot tell you. Regardless, we need your help. The laboratory lies beneath the Redanian camp, which we cannot penetrate above ground. We want to get there through the sewers, but can't manage it without a capable swordsman.
How can I get into the Nilfgaardian camp?
There's one entrance. Beyond it, a long, heavily guarded corridor. You can't hope to sneak in. Renwald Matson chose the spot specifically to avoid being surprised.
Where are you holding Triss?
At the back of the camp, beneath a ruined building.
You're gonna help me free her.
Not likely. You're better off killing me now. You've no idea what the Emperor's intelligence apparatus does to turncoats.
About that offer. Fine. I'll help you open the laboratory.
In exchange, I'll tell you all I can. Do we have a deal?
Yeah. One more thing.
We made a deal.
I'm even faster with my sword. No tricks.
Are we likely to encounter drowners? Or a related species? Perhaps other monsters?
That is how this world's built. Sewers are infested with monsters.
Ghouls?
No. Watch yourself. Damn monsters.
I'm impressed.
I've kept my end of the bargain. I hope you'll keep yours.
Be sure of it.
I'm no rat to run around sewers. What are we looking for, anyway? Some graves, I heard.
Graves? So maybe there is something in this forest.
Shut your traps. Want the sergeant to hear? We're in deep shite. But it is a good idea.
We've got company.
Redanian bastards.
The entrance must be somewhere here.
If our experts are to be trusted.
Der Henner dabbled in illusions, among other things.
He also experimented heavily with golems.
Golems with the power of speech, supposedly. They knew nothing of poetry, but...
Will you two shut up?
Yes, it's an illusion. I found a weak spot. Stand back. Later, Elorn. Lisa Elorn. Later, dear!
At times I'm caught. You can get my kind of feat. Though I have no needles, they say I am piercing. What am I?
Careful with the answer. It could be a trap.
Typical of Der Henner. He was a genius with a penchant for mischievous jokes, like a child.
So a couple of adults, purported experts, should have no problem solving this.
Indeed, it's trivial. The answer is pain.
Incorrect.
No! Impossible! So many years of research.
Pleasant or terrible. I come at night or in daytime. Short or long. But yours alone. Essential. I am
A dream.
Correct.
It's going rather well so far.
Not for everybody. Someone's been here recently.
Well, the competition's here. Kill them! Bloody hell! Death to all warlocks!
They must have descended straight from their quarter.
Bled a Nordling.
Another guardian. Later Elorn, Lisa Elorn, later dear! It's reacting to my stomach. I wager we have a few more of...
A group of travelers wandering through the dark. 3 guides above them, so 3 were marked. At night they trailed a drake serpentine and a silver lady shining and fine. If only her visage she would deign to unfold. By day they followed a mountain vault, its riches untold.
Did I hear someone complain about the riddles being too easy?
Let's think this through. There are 9 alcoves, a fresco in each. That's 3 groups of 3 frescoes.
The riddle mentions 3 guides above the travelers. We must examine the frescoes, seek answers there.
I'll advise you about the riddle, but I will not take part in disarming the device. I've got a bad feeling about this.
A group of travelers.
What do you think of the first verse?
I would say it describes a serpentine dragon swallowing its own tail, which represents infinity and thus time. The hourglass likewise symbolizes time. In this case, the time of the traveler's journey.
I believe it's the dragon constellation. It would be visible at night. What's more, sources on alchemy invariably portray dragons as winged, and as an accomplished alchemist, Gehenna would also be a competent astrologer. The verse must refer to the constellation.
In alchemy, the winged serpentine dragon represents prime matter, an essential component in the process of alchemical transformation. The verse seems to indicate the allegory illustrating that transformation.
Can someone remind me how the line was worded?
The first verse was, "At night they trailed a drake serpentine."
It should be the dragon constellation.
I shall take that one.
What do you think of the second verse?
To my mind, it speaks of the white rose, symbol of the Order of the Flaming Rose. You see, the fresco itself resembles a coat of arms, and in heraldry, silver is rendered as white. So the Silver Lady and White Rose are one and the same.
I think it describes the full moon. In alchemy, the moon represents both silver as a metal and the feminine element.
The order remains largely unknown in the south, so the White Rose seems unlikely. Every Nilfgaardian, on the other hand, has heard of the Imperial Nausicaa Brigade, which has the Death's Head as its symbol. The brigade's name is female, and they say death follows a unit. So the Silver Lady could very well be Nausicaa or the Death's Head.
Can someone remind me how the line was worded?
As I recall, the second verse was, "A silver lady shining and fine, if only her visage she would deign to unfold."
It must be the White Rose.
Allow me.
What do you say to the third verse?
It describes the precipice, the ravine amidst mountains. An ancient rule in alchemy states, as above, so below. The vault is the ravine into which the riches of the mountain flow.
We must read the third line literally. To me, it suggests the Mahakam Mountains and its mines, from which dwarves and gnomes extract many ores that are invaluable to alchemists. Those mountains are a vault in and of themselves.
The verse is not literal. In many legends, towers are in fact vaults, which the hero must penetrate in order to rescue an imprisoned princess or find a long-concealed magic item. The mountain vault is the tower.
Can someone remind me how the line was worded?
The third fragment mentioned a mountain vault containing untold riches which guided the travellers by day.
It's gotta be the ravine. I'll stand next to that fresco. Let's see if we can solve this. Take your places.
Count me out. I want to live.
As you will.
Intruder detected.
Our expedition has grown thin. Such a shame. I actually found those...
A golem. So Darehenna's legend is true.
It is no more than an obedient machine created to follow orders and kill. Not unlike our Witcher.
So I guess we should get along famously.
You? What do you know about golems?
I don't run into them in every forest, but any good bestiary describes golems at length, and I've read more than my share of those.
Geralt, I'm not questioning your knowledge, but I should be the one to...
Actually, you are questioning my knowledge. Listen, I know what I'm doing. I'll try to get it to reveal the word that'll deactivate it, or I'll just mess with its head. Break the code.
So now we've got a burglar in our midst. Be my guest. Try.
My intentions are good.
As are mine. Know, however, that this may change.
Darehenna must have been pretty lonely if he gave you eloquence.
The Master made me a guardian. Nothing less, nothing more. And you, provided you stand there, are a guest.
So you're aware you're an automaton?
Do we really know who we are, where we came from, and where we are headed? Is human life predictable in that the cycle of birth and death ensnares it, better than mine? When a human is born, he is obedient to his parents. Later, he listens to tutors, masters, corporals. Finally, he succumbs to the will of death.
And to think that Adalbert questioned Darehenna's mastery. You're far more self-aware than a typical golem. Can you make sovereign decisions?
The Master made me the way I am, because long discussions were to his liking. I can make decisions, Within my program, of course.
So you decide who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Who else would? Guests chat innocuously, exerting no pressure. All others are intruders.
Has anyone tried to enter before?
I recall no intruders. I do, however, remember guests who left after being warned.
When was that? What did you discuss?
I am a machine. My memory is limited.
Who, if anyone, is allowed to pass?
Dehenna, but he is dead. Also guests may pass, but I stop intruders.
Tell me more. Who's a guest and who's an intruder?
Is it not obvious? A guest keeps his distance, or knows the name word. An intruder is anyone who enters too far, attacks me, or otherwise interferes with my being.
I have other questions. Do you remember your creator?
Of course. I was summoned into being by Master Dehenna. I abide by his will, by his power, by the necessity encased in my stone bowels.
Dehenna is dead.
His word, which animates me, lives on, as does his legacy, which I protect. Empires will rise and fall, rivers will shift their courses, but I will remain obedient to one master on my eternal watch.
Dehenna must have been an exceptional man. Can you tell me about him?
I guard everything that belonged to the master, including his privacy, which he valued highly. I can tell you nothing.
Can I ask you for the name word which brought you to life and which can deactivate you?
Do that, and I shall consider you an intruder.
You're not an automaton. You're self-aware, and you think. You can make decisions.
You're wrong. I am eloquent and can discern between guests and intruders. I can also deal with the latter. But everything I say and do is limited by my restrictive program. By the way, as an automaton, I am immune to all charms. Stop the intruders.
Are you aware that intruders may seek to deceive you?
I have stone fists to defend myself against those armed with swords. I have my iron logic to defend against those armed with words.
But intruders could include sorcerers who alter reality. They could be illusionists or mere liars. What then is certain?
My existence is certain, as is my master's will.
Since only you and the Master's legacy exist for certain, everything else is doubtful. A malicious intruder could cloud your senses.
I am the Guardian. The Master prepared me for that.
He couldn't foresee everything, so he gave you a mind to compensate. You're much more conscious and intelligent than a Guardian needs to be. Your Master says, greet guests and stop intruders. That is certain, but everything else can be a lie. And you cannot allow yourself to attack guests. That would be against your Master's will.
Guests must be greeted, and intruders must be stopped. This is Dehenna's will. Are you a guest or an intruder?
Doesn't matter what I answer. Your senses deceive you. You can trust only your mind. You can't assume I'm a guest, because I may be an intruder. You can't assume I'm an intruder, because I may be a guest.
This is a contradiction, a paradox. The law of excluded middle.
We've done it. We've completed Gehenna's laboratory.
Let's have a look. This is better than I'd hoped.
A great success for Nilfgaard, this mission.
Maybe you'll get that promotion.
History. Gehenna describes finding it. Gehenna's notes from a trip he took to Seracania. Gehenna mentions some bacteria strains.
Can you feel that?
My medallion's vibrating.
Another masking illusion. Later Elorn, Lisa Elorn, later dear!
The device, what is it?
You've done your job. You'll be paid and...
Paid like the scholars were? They died once they were no longer useful.
They were never useful, but Cynthia insisted. Fortunately, they were so kind as to remove themselves without my help.
I'm not about to be that kind.
Adalbert, you know what you're to look for.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a prototype megascope. I didn't know it had survived.
What's it do?
The artifact detects an emotional bond with a person. Its user need only focus on that person and the device will establish a connection.
Great tool for a spy.
Yes.
Time you fulfilled your end of the bargain. What do you know about my past?
You were a rider of the Wild Hunt. I read the reports.
Don't the Nilfgaardians have anything better to do than write reports about witchers?
Not about witchers. About you. You are the sole person to have been a member of the host, and survived.
Anything else? Any detail you can give me would be useful.
Don't trust Letho.
You think I trust the people I hunt?
He's your foe today, but he wasn't always.
Is there anything to prove I was part of the Wild Hunt?
Nothing. Apart from the fact that Nilfgaardian intelligence agents are drawn and quartered for lying in their reports.
An enlightened nation indeed.
You haven't the faintest notion how many people are interested in you. Very important people.
Just because I survived?
You're a former rider of the hunt, and you live. You may be the key to solving the mystery of the retinue, and they all know that. You must watch out for yourself.
How do you know I knew Letho?
I've read...
The reports, I know. Why are you warning me about him?
Because I like you.
Let's say you've satisfied my curiosity.
Well then, consider me glad to have satisfied a witcher, whatever the way.
I'd like to try out the device.
You realize that can only end badly.
Cut in again and I'll put you in my report. You may use it, but just once.
Giving state secrets away to a Nordling. Will you mention that in your report?
You're sure to be named a commander one day, Adalbert. But until that happens, be a good boy and do your job.
Article 22 of the Code is clear. Suspicion of treason is sufficient grounds to strip a commander of power. Article 1 of my personal code is equally clear. Traitors must be subjected to the most painful death possible.
Whoa!
didn't expect that.
Multiplication. Second year at the academy, all mages learn it.
I didn't expect you to take my side.
Well, now choose one person you wish to contact. After that, the artifact's mine.
Nilfgaardian agents get quartered for lying in reports. What does the Empire do to agents who kill their colleagues?
Nothing. As long as no one finds out.
Will we meet again?
I wouldn't mind at all. Look for me at the inn.
How do you know I knew Letho?
I've read...
The report. Why are you...
because I like you.
Is there...
No. You have...
Just...
You're... and they...
Let's...
Well then.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't eavesdrop while I eavesdropped.
I shan't trouble you. I have a lot of work to do here.
Your fate is in your hands, sorceress.
My fate? You haven't asked a single question about me.
Yet it is all up to you. Your situation is a comfortable one. Do not squander your chance. So, wish to tell me anything?
I'm a sorceress, an advisor to the King of Temeria.
I believe we agreed you would speak only of things I do not know about.
I hope you learned something useful.
I'm just sorry I can't use the artifact a few more times.
Its power has been depleted.
I understand. Thanks anyway. Diana's notes from a mutation procedure manual.
Renounce magic, I tell you.
Hey there.
And crystal balls. Break your wands and burn your hats. Turn.
Where is Philippa?
We need to talk.
Of course.
You had me fooled back in Vergen. That sweet face of yours. Never suspected it could belong to someone who fanatically believes in conquering the North.
Mock me if you must. But I truly believe one huge empire is humanity's only hope. Many nations under one crown, with shared laws, advanced science, burgeoning industry and trade, and no wars, of course.
Sounds great. Let me know when it works out. I'd gladly spend my old age in a land like that. These ruins must hold many secrets.
I'm certain of that. It was a beautiful city, a city full of talent and hope. But that ill ended with the coming of the Nordling armies.
Think the city would have survived if those armies had been Imperial?
Your king started the war with the Enshe. Nilfgaard's relations with the elves have always been peaceful.
They really did a job on your brain. That was an interesting adventure, Cynthia.
Yes. People bond over experiences like that.
Yeah, kinda makes you wonder what happened back in Vergen. Did you get your promotion?
Not yet. But His Imperial Majesty rewards dedication.
Can he discern the truth from lies?
What do you mean?
I take it the Emperor has no idea his sorceress helped a mutant kill a Nilfgaardian mage.
It was a dangerous expedition. Casualties were inevitable. He'll content himself with that.
Got time to talk? Or are you off on another dangerous mission?
Even we Nilfgaardian agents rest sometimes.
You knew what we'd find in that laboratory.
Come again?
You wanted the bacteria strains that killed the Vrans, or more precisely, Derhenna's notes from his research into them.
This is very dangerous knowledge.
I suspect that's exactly why the Emperor is so interested.
The North is in chaos. An epidemic is the last thing you need. And one could break out if Derhenna's book fell into the wrong hands.
Fortunately, it's now in the right hands. In Emir's civilized and manicured hands.
Precisely.
Used the artifact yet?
I'm working on improving it. I think it'll be useful one day.
I found some of Derhena's notes. He studied the history of the Vrans, right?
Among other things.
He makes several mentions of an epidemic.
Loch Muin conceals many more secrets than we imagined. I doubt we'll ever know all of them.
Well, if Derhen is to be trusted, the epidemic had something to do with the Enshe. Maybe the Vrans caught the disease from the elves.
I'm no expert on diseases, Witcher. Who knows? Perhaps Derhenna was right, and the decline of Vrani civilization was much darker and more sudden than we thought.
I'm finding it hard to believe anything you say.
Did you come here to insult me?
No. Sorry.
What exactly do you want?
I was curious. I wanted to see which Cynthia I'd meet this time. The spy, the sorceress, or maybe the woman.
Which were you hoping to meet?
The real one.
Let's assume you're speaking to her. How do you like her?
Let's say I like her quite a bit.
Compliments are clearly not your forte.
I just told you why I've come. Care to tell me why you invited me?
Let's say I was interested to see which Geralt would show up.
And? Strel's got it right. Women of the South are both passionate and clever.
I like to improvise.
Yeah, I noticed. Farewell, Cynthia.
Verfail.
It's a brazen attack. King Radovid will learn of this.
Radovid sent them, you idiot!
The audacity!
Pull yourself together!
Leave the royal...
You're not easy to find.
Look what they did to me. Radovid. To think I taught him magic tricks when he was just a boy. Free me, Geralt. I have to get out of here. Do you hear me? Help me!
You'll answer a few questions first. I didn't track you alone. Yorvith can't wait to see you again.
My death would change little. Yorvith and all like him have no right to judge others.
Was Shillard telling the truth about the Lodge, the assassinations?
He said exactly what Radovid wanted to hear. Half-truths, musings stripped of context, which differ very little from lies.
Did Triss take part in all this?
She's clean in those terms. Innocent as a child, but only to a point. I assure you, she has not been honest with you about many other matters.
Why did all this happen? Murdering monarchs, what interests did it serve? I can't fathom.
Help me get out of here and I'll explain all and lift the spell from Saskia. Take these shackles off me and lead me to my house. I beg you. I'll tell you everything. Everything.
How does the spell work?
Saskia's will and mine are one. She cannot resist me. But fear not. There's no suffering involved. She merely believes me to be the most wonderful person in the world. As if she were in love. You know what's most beautiful? In spite of all this, she seems unchanged. She's retained her charm, her valor, her honor.
Where's Saskia?
When I was arrested, she was with Sheila. They must be on their way to the deliberations by now.
Clock's ticking. Time is of the essence.
Why do you do this? Would you take vengeance on a blind woman?
Shillard said they've got Triss. I have to free her before they put out her eyes too.
Going to the Nilfgaardian camp is suicide.
And leaving a friend is villainy.
Only I know how to break the spell that holds Saskia. Get me out of here. If I die, she'll remain forever spellbound.
All right, but if you're lying to me...
Unbind me and lead the way. We must return through the sewers.
The shackles stay on, and you'll go first.
Shillard will raise the alarm.
No, he won't. We'll be long gone by the time he comes to.
Kill him.
I'm not into murdering unconscious old men. Lead on. No tricks, Phil.
I want to get out of here, and I want to live.
Sure you won't faint on me?
I'll manage. Will you remove my shackles?
The manacles stay on.
Game. Who did this to her?
It was Radovid's way of thanking her for the care she provided him when he was a child.
I saw him with his army on his way to the talks, whistling a tune.
Get me out of here!
Shut up, witch! You're alive only because you're still needed.
Philippa's promised to help us in exchange for her freedom.
And you believe her?
Know a better way to free Saskia? Got the strength to walk, Eilhart?
I must find it.
What state is Saskia in now?
I've ordered her to carry out Sheila's bidding until I return.
Great. And Sheila will be at the talks?
Yes. She's probably there already, making certain the Lodge's plans do not fall through.
What's Sheila supposed to safeguard?
The restitution of the Council and Conclave, and the creation of a strong, independent state with Saskia as its leader.
With what aim?
As a bulwark. A defense against Nilfgaard. After years of chaos and destruction, the time has come to build. We wish to rule, yes. Where is the fault in that? Everyone wants to rule. And I know how to do that. Better than any other monarch in this city.
You can't hope to win the common folk's trust. Humans will never accept a sorceress queen.
Non-humans won't either, given what that old hag Finderbear has achieved.
They all believe in Saskia. They all trust her. The girl is a born leader, yet she has no political instincts. She's charismatic but not cunning, courageous but not fierce. She is just but lacks the required cruelty.
She is your very opposite.
Perhaps. Together we would be unstoppable.
Did you order Foltest murdered?
No!
Shillard claimed that Triss testified.
Triss doesn't know what she's talking about. The Lodge exists, and Triss has lost our trust. All that is true. But Foltest's assassination, that was not my order.
What would you have done if Saskia hadn't been poisoned? If a certain foolish witcher hadn't gathered the potion ingredients?
I would have sought other means, but I couldn't miss that opportunity.
How do we free Saskia?
I have charmed a dagger with a counterspell. You must thrust it into the she-dragon's heart.
You mean your heart, witch? Do you mock us?
There is no other way. She must be struck with surgical precision, otherwise the counterspell won't work. All the blade's runes must touch blood, and its point must pierce a chamber of her heart.
We'll need to hold her down somehow.
Hold down a dragon? This is ridiculous. She's lying, Geralt. I don't trust her. Why would she even need this dagger?
In a minute, we'll hear that she planned to free Saskia herself.
Any time you cast a spell or a curse, you must have a counterspell at the ready. It's a basic rule of magic. I prepared the dagger just before I cast the spell, in case anything went awry.
A basic rule, but I don't know many mages who follow it. Where's the dagger?
My quarters. In Geoffrey Monk's former home, inside a well-secured chest.
I know the house.
Yorvith, know any way to get to Philippa's quarters unnoticed?
Through this sewer. We may encounter monsters, but we'll gain a lot of time.
Keep an eye on her. I'll go ahead.
Look, you.
Shut up! Is this the chest?
Describe it.
It's heavy, covered in runes. There's a circle and candles on the floor.
Yes, the very chest in which Geoffrey Monk kept his most valuable treasures. The dagger's inside.
How do we bloody open it?
The candles must be lit in a specific order. I figured it out. My notes are downstairs. After that, a simple spell will suffice. Remove my shackles.
Geralt, do you know this ritual?
Only a mage can perform it.
Shut up!
I'll light the candles, then we'll remove the dimeritium.
Now unshackle me. I'll open the chest with a spell.
Neither of us can utter it.
It's not something you learn in a moment. A trained mage is needed to cast spells. The candles are lit. We need to hurry. Do as I say before I lose consciousness.
Try anything clever and you will die.
You can lift the spell binding her, but she will never be human.
She's more than a dwarf. Someone who restored hope to the Enche.
She's a monster. If you think she can rule a realm of humans and elves herself.
Vegetarian!
You'll suffer the consequences of your foolishness.
Look out, Geralt! blazing fight, Gwynblade! Get the dagger and let's get out of here!
Let's hope this blade will do the trick.
A strange weapon. Never seen anything like it. I hope it works. Too bad Eilhart won't tell us anything more.
Keep in mind that the other sorceresses are here. Philippa may inform Sheila.
Or command the dragon.
I won't be surprised if I'm forced to fight Saskia. Confused by spells, she won't understand we want to help her.
You're probably right. But please don't kill her. Unless you must do so to save your own life.
Philippa will be far away by now. She was in pain. Let's hope that kept her honest.
She's bound to recover quickly and promptly return to conspiring.
She's out of the game for now. Time to join the talks.
I'll go ahead and see what we can expect.
Renounce magic, I tell you! Shatter your towers!
In a hurry to see the deliberations?
Here on urgent business.
Your dress seems to confirm it. Excuse you indeed. I suppose I couldn't much care. I've heard what I came to hear.
And what, pray tell, was that?
The rightful heir will ascend to the Edirnian throne. There will be peace in the land. What more could one want?
Prince Stennis is here?
King Stennis. Crowned 2 days past in Vengerberg. Merely send a messenger here. All those present promptly agreed that he will make a good ruler.
Prince Stennis. A poisoner, coward, and schemer. He trembled with disgust when he spoke to the peasants. Disdain flowed from him like vomit. But he didn't deserve to be lynched. That was not the justice Saskia fought for. Prince Stennis I, son of Demavend III, became the 17th king of Edirn. He won the hearts of the people. They saw him as the hope of the nation. The realm, ravaged by war, needed a ruler sensitive to the plight of his subjects. King Stennis I was just that. I see you took care of the guards.
I hate those monastic curs.
They're not paragons of virtue, true, but they were just doing their job.
Then they didn't do it well enough. Can we go now?
Yes, let's go.
Time to finish it.
Whether you like it or not, John Natalis, Temeria will be divided.
For the good of the entire North.
The united forces of Kedwen and Redania will end the fighting among the Elder Houses and secure peace from Gorsvelen to Ellender.
At present, Temeria is starting to resemble the Pontar Valley.
Which, if I understand correctly, is currently controlled by Edirn.
You are mistaken, Radovid. Vergen is free.
Free? What precisely does that mean?
Lormark is not Kedwen's, and Edirn no longer controls Upper Edirn. We have rejected Prince Stennis.
King Stennis?
And handed King Henselt's army a resounding defeat.
Your forces, my dear lass, are nothing but a motley array of rebellious peasants and elven brigands. Sooner or later, they will need to swear allegiance to someone, or they will be defeated and dispersed.
The peoples of the Pontar Valley will swear allegiance to me, Queen Saskia. As an independent realm, we hereby speak in favor of reconstituting the Council and Conclave.
You're a lovely girl, but you issue from common stock. The sole crown you are worthy of donning is a wreath woven of wildflowers. Redania will recognize no other coronation.
In that case, you must choose, King Radovid. Will you carve up Temeria, or march on the Pontar Valley? Henselt, last of the line of the unicorns, has sworn to recognize the Pontar Valley as a free realm. Philippa Eilhart witnessed it.
Philippa Eilhart is in my dungeon, awaiting trial for treason.
She was in your dungeon, Radovid, but is no longer. She will sit at my side in Vergen as my royal advisor.
Everything we did in Vergen will be in vain.
There's still hope. We have the dagger.
To the matter at hand. The document describing the charter of the Council and the Conclave is, as previously ascertained, an exact copy of the charter found in the ruins on Thanet Island. The more important question relates to the Conclave and its power to designate royal advisors. Today, randomly chosen mages and sorceresses reside at many courts. However, in the time of the previous Conclave, such persons were carefully chosen.
Why shouldn't we pick our own advisors?
These individuals bear great responsibility, Your Majesty. The Conclave needs to be certain they are competent.
And that they will keep the Conclave's interests in mind.
Obviously, sire. The Conclave's chief interest is the well-being and prosperity of the northern kingdoms. The document has been signed by every member of the Conclave we have proposed, as well as by all but one of the designated advisors. We await only Sheila de Tanseville's signature.
Without our royal seals, you should be allowed to designate advisors to Cowhurt at most.
That is true, Your Majesty.
My kings, before you sign this document, please hear me out.
Excellency, with all due respect, this matter does not concern Nilfgaard in the least.
I am here at King Henselt's bidding. Will you deny my right to speak?
What is the meaning of this?
This man tried to kill me this morning. He attempted to take an Imperial envoy's life in your lands.
I presume he was interrogated.
He confessed. Foltest and Demiven died by his hand. He also revealed the identity of his employers.
Sorceresses. They helped me with my assassinations. Speak on. The Lodge of Sorceresses sought to remove those rulers who acted against the will of mages.
Lodge of Sorceresses?
We have compiled a list. Philippa Eilhart, Margarita Loantil, Tris Merigold, Kira Metz, Francesca Findaber, Ida Emin, and finally, Sheila de Tanseville. To my deepest regret, 2 Nilfgaardian sorceresses, Asira Val Anahid and Fringa de Vigo, were also members. The Emperor will deal with them accordingly.
Our queen left to powder our nose.
Your Majesty, what's the meaning of this?
Arrest them all. Your document will have to wait, Honorable Sorceress.
You have no right.
Surrender now if you don't want another massacre, this time in Loch Muine. A court of law will reveal the traitors.
Sheila!
Stand back while you can, Witcher. You can't stop me. Not you, not anyone else. If I have to, I will kill you. How do you like my dragon?
You're late. I've already managed to stabilize the portal.
You've got nowhere to run. Sooner or later, somebody will find you.
I prefer to leave on my own terms.
Where's Letho?
Sir will tend to him, as she will to all the fools who get a hard-on at the mere thought of burning a sorceress at the stake.
Where is he?
I don't know, fool. I've been looking for him since Foltest's assassination. Letho cheated all of us. We were deceived by his dull face and sluggish stare. Don't you understand? The Lodge sought a way to get rid of Demavend, that's true. He was a weak, volatile king. Edirn would eventually choke to death under his rule. We chose the lesser evil. He had to be eliminated, and Letho happened to be at hand.
Foltest? Henselt?
We had nothing to do with that. After assassinating Demavend, Letho used our gold and magical support to find and meet Yorveth. The elf was to help him hide until the matter blew over, or so I thought. The Lodge did not condemn Foltest to die.
Then who did?
Nilfgaard. Letho is the king of liars and emperor of traitors. From the start, he worked for the glory of the great sun and the white flame dancing on the graves of his foes. He lied to everyone. Me, Yorveth, your stupid little Triss, and you.
Got any evidence?
A moment ago, I received a message from the Lodge's agent in Sintra. The Imperial Army is on the move. They're fording the Yaruga now. Do you think the North can defend itself in the current situation? And can you count on another miracle at Brenna?
I don't know, but you made it all possible and you'll answer for that. The stigma of treason is yours for all time.
We shall see. For no one will leave this city alive. No one will tell this story. Philippa controls the dragon. As soon as I disappear, it will turn the city into a flaming tomb. We may have lost a battle, but the war is just beginning. You, however, shall not take part in it. This is your end, Witcher.
Farewell! Something's not right! The diamond! Someone replace the diamond! This one's flawed! I'll be torn to bits! Geralt, remove it! The diamond! Remove the diamond! I'll give you anything you want! No!
I think we can skip the niceties.
Yeah, unnecessary.
Yet I sense your readiness to fight on.
We were fighting to the death just minutes ago.
I understand. I believe I owe you part of my treasure. Family tradition and all.
No need. Can you make it back to Vergen?
I think so. I've always healed quickly in the past.
Can you tell me what'll happen to Yorvith now?
Let's be honest. He's a terrorist. I'll not lie about him nor whitewash his deeds. He must earn respect on his own, and perhaps, a few generations on, humans will forget.
Did you intend just to use him?
Geralt, Yorvith has killed more humans than you've eaten chickens. He's not one to be used. It's not that simple. He came to believe in me and knew from the start what we were fighting for. He made a choice.
Sure you don't know what I'm talking about? Those baby doe eyes, that intense misty gaze, the pouting.
We shared a cause, fought side by side.
Yorvith did and would do anything for you. Question is, what are you prepared to do for him?
There will always be a place for the Scoia'tael in the free Pontar Valley. As to Yorvith himself, I've heard many say crude things about us. Thing is, as long as I can remember, I've found dwarves fascinating. Must be a dragon thing. And though preferable to a human, an elf would be a compromise.
Philippa took advantage of the chaos and escaped. Think she could reveal your secret?
It's nothing I can control. I don't intend to pursue her. We may or may not meet again, but I shall leave that to fate.
She's not one to give up easily. I think she'll come after you again, try to take control, as soon as she's done licking her wounds.
I shall be cautious next time, and I know much more about Eilhart than she would ever wish.
More than she would wish. Interesting.
I obeyed Philippa, but I was not blind. We were close, and Eilhart could not keep all her secrets concealed. I know her weakness, something that can destroy her in an instant.
Valuable and dangerous knowledge.
Precisely why I'll keep it to myself.
Sheila and Philippa have lost. The Lodge has been defeated.
That's good, though temporary. I fear we shall hear of them again.
You know Emir's armies have crossed the Yaruga?
I expected as much, as did Philippa. We defeated the Adernian lords and Henselt. With a bit of luck, we'll defeat the Emperor as well.
You know, you're not the first dragon I've talked to.
You met my father, Villain Trettenmirth, known also as Bork Three Jackdaws.
I thought he couldn't have children.
He thought so as well.
Polymorphing. Did you get that from him?
Just a hint of it. I can only assume one human form. He could transform into anyone he liked.
You also don't have his quickness and reflexes. And I don't think I saw a single golden scale on you.
Nor do I have his moustache or paunch. Sorry to disappoint you.
Professional curiosity. Forgive me. Where is Bork these days?
Who can know that? He taught me what he thought I should know and flew off yonder. It's the dragon's way. And he gave me my name.
Synthesis, if I heard right.
I prefer being Saskia.
Time I was on my way.
You shall always be a welcome guest in Vergen. I underline guest.
Don't worry, I'm only ever a visitor.
I know. Sometimes I wish I could see the future, like my father.
And sometimes it's better to be surprised.
Farewell, Witcher.
What happened to Saskia?
She's alive. Wounded from our scrap, but alive. She impaled herself on a tree, and then I had to use that dagger. But she'll make it. Mountain air is good for a dragon's hide.
You're the most noble human I know, Gwynblade.
I'm no human.
I'm glad you reminded me. My hatred for the species abated for a moment.
What about Letho?
Strange thing. He sits in the Temerians' former camp. I believe he awaits you.
How do you know?
I saw him. He's got Triss.
Let's go. Tell me what happened here on the way.
While you were fighting Saskia, the city was staged to a bloody spectacle.
The players?
There were many. At first, it was a hunt for the traitors, but it soon turned into a hunt for all mages. And there were a few skirmishes between Kedweni, Redanian, and Temerian troops. Rape, pillage, and murder. Not necessarily in that order. The pastimes of the Order's pious knights. And the regular troops soon followed suit. The kings, with their choice units, left the city just after the dragon attacked.
And the Nilfgaardians?
Remained neutral.
When we're done with you, you'll be a lump of whimpering meat.
Elf! Kill the non-human!
Beasts! Bloody sons of bitches!
Will you be all right?
Yes, thank you. Leave me.
What happened here?
When the summit ended, we hid in one of the houses, but they found us. They cut off both my sister's hands so she wouldn't cast spells. But I managed to escape. They caught me here.
Let's go, Gwynblade. This is madness. Lochmuin has changed. That's what it looks like now.
I think I heard something.
Imperial troops. Long live the Emperor! Long live the Emperor! Long live the Emperor!
Finish your story.
I managed to sneak into the Nilfgaardian camp. It was relatively quiet there. Then I saw Letho leading Triss out.
They let him go?
No one dared stop him. I followed him. I think he noticed me, but didn't seem to care. Once the fighting died down, he went to the former Temerian camp.
Is Triss all right?
Yes. Letho defended her from marauders.
Stop, Yorvith. I'm going alone.
Why?
This is between the two of us. Take care of Triss until I return.
Your choice.
Mine, indeed. There's one more thing you need to know. Nilfgaard's armies have crossed the Yaruga. War is inevitable.
Vafail, Gwynblade. Don't get killed.
Farewell, Yorvith. If I don't return within the hour, find Saskia and leave without me. Are you all right?
Yes. He saved me from the Nilfgaardians and defended me from the troops.
It's time to end this. Yorvith's waiting. I'll catch up with you soon.
Geralt, he knows a lot.
I know, Triss. That's why we need to talk.
Don't get killed, Witcher.
I won't.
Took you a while?
Is that bauble from Sheila's megascope?
Mm-hmm. My final prank. I switched the diamonds. The one in the megascope has a flaw. Minute. But just large enough to warp the teleport. The Emperor's magic theorists assured me the effect would be spectacular.
Oh, it was.
Good. Had she lived, she would have suffered more intensely and much longer. She helped me quite a bit, through naivety and pride. I would not have gotten far without her.
So, ready to lay your cards out on the table?
No matter the game, there comes a point when all the players need to show their cards. I love that moment. But first, vodka.
I suppose my throat's a little dry.
In that case, let's drink to old friendships. Recovered your memory yet?
Not entirely.
Remember how we first met?
Yeah, I saved your life. Couldn't think of a nicer way to pay me back?
Frankly, I couldn't. I mean, taking care of another man's woman, Yennefer. I can't fathom what you saw in her, but I suppose there's no accounting for taste.
The winter solstice 1270. Midinvern, the night of magic. Letho wasn't lying, the hunt had stopped. At the Hanged Man's Tree, the spectral riders selected from among those they had taken. Yennefer was among them. A wraith cannot be killed, only driven away. Every witcher knows that. Yet the riders fell beneath the blows of our witcher's blades. Crimson blood flowed from under their dead men's armor. We could not kill them all. They were simply too many. A stalemate. He was different from all other elves. There was no shame in his gaze. He had never suffered persecution. He had endured no massacres. Humans had not taken his land. This elf was not of this world. He was an invader. We struck a deal. My soul for that of Yennefer. He agreed without hesitation.
Back with me, friend. Got the feeling you left for a minute.
Memories. I remember the Hanged Man's Tree and the Wild Hunt. I remember the exchange. Me for Yennefer.
So, cards out on the table. Unless you chase me all that way just to kill me.
I chased you for lots of reasons. You owe me some explanations to start with.
Let's say I do.
Tell me about Yennefer. What happened after I departed?
She was feverish for several days. Delirious. In agony. We thought that was it. She was on her way out. Somehow she recovered. But even then she was disoriented. Amnesia like you.
What then?
Well, the woman turned out to be quite a character. Throwing temper tantrums. Trying to seduce orcs. Trying to drive a wedge between us. After you so nobly sacrificed yourself, we thought it'd be dumb just to leave her somewhere. She wouldn't have survived more than a month. The whims and vigor of a duchess, but she was just a sorceress with no memory. We were in the heart of the Empire. And as I'm sure you know, Geralt, in Nilfgaard, mages who behave like that either drop their bad habits quickly or are drawn and quartered by horses in the middle of Victory Square.
So I heard.
So we set out, wandered through the provinces. Everywhere we went, She got in trouble and we pulled her out. And then one day they captured us. The Imperial Secret Police. Me, Ox, Sarit, and Yennefer.
Imperial Secret Police?
Mm-hmm. We were separated, and they questioned us. Long and thoroughly, but it was uneventful, no violence. That's how I met Vatia de Rideau. And a couple of weeks later, the Emperor himself. Me. A simple witcher.
What happened to Yennefer?
I don't know. Never saw her again. The Emperor offered me a mission in the northern kingdoms. As for Yennefer, I had the feeling she was somehow important to Emir. As I see it, they learned of the Lodge from her. Those Imperial spooks have their ways. All I heard is that Vatir had his men watch Yennefer closely throughout the time she was at the palace. Then we went off to slay the kings of the north. That's where my knowledge ends.
So she's in the Empire?
She was when I left.
How did you know where we'd find the Wild Hunt?
Every witcher who wears the viper around his neck knows the place. We had so many books and scrolls about the hunt that I used to think our school was founded for the very purpose of solving the riddle of the spectral riders.
Know who they are? You know the true identities of the riders?
From what I understand, they're some damn elven race. But they turned out to be a big ruse. The legendary omen of war proved to be a fairground attraction.
No Market Square mage could possibly conjure up a cavalcade of wraiths speeding across the sky. Then there's the amnesia. No, there's something more, I assure you.
Go ahead, enlighten me. I can tell you want to.
There are a lot of legends and myths about it, but the Wild Hunt is a fact. I've fought and killed many of its wraiths. They were spectral emanations, the avatars of real riders. The riders we ran into by the Hanged Man's Tree.
Are you telling me you were carried off by elves? Real material sons of bitches like the ordinary kind we deal with in this world?
They may be ordinary in their world, but they're strangers in ours. The conjunction of spheres. Know the theory? Do you know how monsters appeared in our world?
There's not a witcher who doesn't know that.
So you know there are other spheres. The most powerful of our mages can open passages between these worlds, and they usually do that to summon the monsters we then have to hunt. The elves we saw come from another world, and they weren't summoned. They found the way on their own. It's not exactly easy, so they usually send their spectral emanations. They come in person on special missions.
As they did for you and Yennefer. So, elves from another world and their trained wraiths. What do they want from you?
I've got an idea, but that's not your concern. How did a witcher agree to kill humans at another human's bidding?
At the Emperor's bidding, Geralt. And he's no ordinary human. The rulers of the North come up to about where his poleans end.
Why?
Simple. He promised to rebuild the School of the Viper, the Witcher's Order where I came to be. Witchers' schools in the south fell into ruin long ago, and Witchers themselves became internal exiles, banned from entering most cities. Besides Sarit and Ox, I know of 2 other Witchers of the School of the Viper who should be alive and on the path. I don't know where they are. Haven't seen them for years. Now they can come out of hiding. They can come home.
Why are you still here? Why did you wait for me this time?
I knew you wouldn't give up. I knew you'd pursue me. And I don't aim to hide anymore. Fact is, only you know the truth about me. Well, and a couple of folks whose word isn't worth spit anymore. I never saw you as a foe. I want to go my way. But if I have to fight you first, so be it. This story ends here and now.
Care to tell me what it was all about?
Kill as many rulers as we could. Lay the blame on the sorceresses. Breed chaos. Prepare the North. Soften it before the invasion. And you know what's incredible? We could not have imagined more fertile soil. No matter what the war's outcome, the northern monarchs will accuse one another. Pursue their God-given rights. Seek vengeance and be at each other's throats for years to come. The North resembles a whorehouse on fire, as your friend Dandelion would say.
How did you manage to contact Sheila?
It wasn't a problem once I learned of the Lodge's existence. Initially, she watched my every move. But sooner or later, everyone starts treating me like a big oaf. I mean, I can't change how I look. I stayed close to Sheila, killed a few beasts for her, and whined about how unhappy I was, how unfair the world was. So much, in fact, that I actually got her gander up a few times. I made sure a few potentially trustworthy witnesses saw us together, could link us. Security in case I was captured. I also prepared to assassinate the King of Kavir. Esterad Tyson was to be the first victim of the mysterious assassins. But before I could do the dirty deed, Sheila asked me to slay Demavend. The gods had smiled upon me. I couldn't believe my luck. Here I've been trying to figure out how to frame Sheila, and now all I needed was to carry out her orders and follow through.
Where'd you get your information about the Lodge?
From the Emperor and Vatir de Rideau, the Emperor's chief spy. And I believe they got it out of Yennefer.
She recovered her memory?
Nah. I'd never claim she informed on her friends consciously. I expect they found a way to tap into her memory in spite of her amnesia, and without her knowing it. There was a sorcerer present when I was questioned. A young, proud intelligence officer. Whatever the case, they gave me a list of the sorceresses in the Lodge. Only Emir, Vatir, and I were present. Only we knew of the mission.
How'd you manage to slay Demavend?
Sheila's magic. I mean, she could give us the king's every move. His habits, the positions of the palace guards, anything. All we had to do was navigate the labyrinth and land the final blow. Besides, she had plenty of gold for the preparations. Greased palms abundantly. It had all the makings of a cakewalk, but it's never that easy. We barely avoided our pursuers, and we wouldn't have if not for Yorveth Scoia'tael, another of Sheila's ideas. With Yorveth's elves, not only did we cut down Demavend, but traveling with them put us out of the Lodge's reach. We could calmly plan Foltest's and Henselt's assassinations.
How did you know Foltest would come to the monastery's solar?
Yorveth and I planned Foltest's murder. The King of Temeria would have to deal with the Lavalette sooner or later, and he made no secret of it. I was sure he'd want to recover his bastard children in the process. And where do they take the children when a castle's under siege? I had to become a monk, but I couldn't just arrive at the monastery and claim I'd seen the light. Not very believable. So one of Arion's patrols out in the forests happened on a Scoia'tael unit torturing a helpless monk. Arion's brave men drove off the elves and I found shelter in the monastery.
No one noticed you had no wounds?
I paid the monk who treated me a lot of orange to stay silent. Actually, it was only a loan, because I killed him later. Only the dead can keep a secret. Then all I had to do was wait for the situation to develop. When I saw you enter the chamber with Foltest, I thought I might fail. Luckily, you failed. To recognize an old friend.
When did you decide to get rid of Yorvith?
As soon as I realized I couldn't manipulate him. A true fox, that one. He was so observant, so dangerous. I got the sense he might see through me at any moment.
You made a mistake. You were untouchable as long as the Scoia'tael were protecting you.
Maybe, but with Yorvith, my hands were tied. If I'd finished off Kieran...
But you didn't. And that allowed me to drive a wedge between you and Yorvith. I forced you to flee.
And I let you live. You know I could have killed you. You're forgetting.
No, I remember. So Sheila was looking for you when she came to Flotsam.
Mm-hmm. She thought she was still in control and wanted to get rid of me. I'd bet my eyes that she thought I'd lost my mind, or that Yorvith was manipulating me.
And the North descended deeper into chaos.
Exactly. There was just one problem. You. I could have killed you in the Elven ruins. Thing is, you weren't really my enemy.
You screwed up with Henselt.
Sabrina's curse tore that down. First off, we got holed up in that hideout in the ravines. Then Sheila showed up and started watching Henselt like he was her own ass. By that time, his death was no longer necessary. Fate had smiled upon us again. I learned of the summit and the efforts to reconstitute the council and conclave. The ideal setting for the mission's grand finale.
I'm done talking. Let's finish this.
Want to fight?
Any vodka left in that bottle?
A swig apiece. Here. The Imperial army is probably crossing the Yaruga as we speak. Pure pandemonium will ensue. The North's finished. Time to go south, where the good life awaits.
You're a fool, Letho. Both you and your Emperor are forgetting one thing. Misfortune brings people together. Very shortly, the North could be united like never before, thanks to you. But that's just not my concern anymore.
I'm not your foe. I never was. Let me walk away and I will. You'll never see me again. Force me to fight, and this time I'll kill you.
I've learned all I wanted to know. I can feel the memories coming back. Your death won't change a thing. Go where you will.
Just like that. No threats. No words of wisdom.
You going or not?
Farewell, Geralt.
The Witcher had traveled far and wide in search of the Kingslayers. Along the way, he had met both the righteous and scoundrels, Bernard Laredo amongst the latter. Laredo sold Flotsam to Kedwin and scattered the local non-humans to the four winds. Flotsam became a military base. Its civilian population was resettled. In Edirn, the Witcher witnessed Saskia the Dragonslayer achieve a great victory. The Pontar Valley, previously Upper Edirn, became a promised land for outcasts who dared dream of freedom. Even sly old Zoltan Chive came to believe in this land of bliss. Yet dark times approached for the architects of the New Order. Dark clouds had been gathering over Temeria since Foltest's death. Stripped of its king, the land was like a rich cloth which nobles began to shred. These minor scavengers, however, scurried off in fear when true predators reached out for their prize. The summit at Loch Muin sealed the fate of Foltest's realm, when Radovid of Redania and Henselt of Kedwin divided it between them. A tempest descended on the north, at least partly the work of manipulative mages. It seemed the turmoil in Temeria, Edirn, and Kedwin would benefit them most. Common folk turned against sorceresses and all magic freaks, witchers included. Castles that had hitherto welcomed mavens of the magic arts now shut their gates to any who sought shelter there. A witch hunt ensued. It was a time of great uncertainty, of rape accomplished by royal decree. Yet as troubled as the days seemed, we who had in some way shaped the world's fate finally received some respite. Zoltan resumed the quest for his beloved's hand, and I laid my head in the laps of the muses. Who could have known this tempest which had ravaged the north was but a harbinger of darker days, and the preamble to an entirely new tale of Geralt of Rivia.